Chicago.
The veteran performance, specifically from Candace, Allie, and Sloot, how important is that going to be in your guys' pursuits to repeat?
I mean, it's very important. They're like, who we are. Since I've been here, Allie and Sloot have been like the face of everything Chicago Sky, and now you bring Candace in, and the maturation of Kalia, and so whatever we do is going to have those four players play a major role in everything. So great performances from them, great performances from other players on our team, but they're the players that kind of get us going.
So Candace Parker and Serena Williams both had really big nights. Serena won, just FYI.
Yeah, I know.
And what does that say about what players can do after 35?
I mean, when you have generational talents, they're just too good, too good and too dominant. And with the experience, it's like Napa Valley, great wine just ages well. And you can say the same thing about those two icons. I think Candace is averaging maybe 5 blocks a game in the series. So no, you can't put age on that. What did Aaliyah say? Age ain't nothing but a number. I ain't gonna say the rest. I thought about it once I said it. Like, yeah, that wasn't good.
And Emma Mieseman had one of those nights where, like, though she had a good stats night, she was doing so many things that don't show up on the stats. So I just kind of wanted to see what you thought of her play.
It was really good, very decisive, aggressive, and Emma's aggressive is different from everybody else's. Her aggressive is looking to make plays, and we just appreciated that she was herself, and she doesn't force, but sometimes we want her to, sometimes we need her to, just to open up our offense a little bit. And I thought she took some good shots. I thought she made some great passes and got the ball moving where it was supposed to go. So it was pretty good.
Julia, in the middle.
James, the way that the Sun were able to shut down Sloot and Allie in the first game was really a big part of that loss, and then they came back and seemed like they were back in their normal form today. What do you think kind of unlocked them to be able to be in the position that they were today, facilitating the offense?
Well, we looked at some things the day after the game on video where we can help them, we worked on them yesterday in practice and worked on them today and shoot around, and it helped unlock our offense a little bit. What also helped is that they were aggressive. Sometimes when players are that good and things don't go their way, and we play with such a talented team, that they tend to play a little bit, more for the team and a little bit more timid, but they have to force action a little bit. And, because they make good decisions. So we trust them. It's a lot of trust there. So, no, I think we spaced the floor, had the ball moving. Sometimes we let our defense create our offense, and, it helped out a lot. So we just have to continue to improve. We didn't play a perfect game today, so we still have a lot of things to improve on. So we're going to look at video again and approach it the same way as like we approached it the first game. It's a game of adjustments. They may make some adjustments for the second game, but we feel like we're up for the task, so we'll be all right.
And then the Sun are obviously known as being such a strong offensive rebounding team, but you guys were able to hold them to, I believe, only 6 second chance points today. What do you think made that difference, especially from game one? It seems like just such a switch was flipped there.
It was a lot of will. This is playoff time, so we have to be more physical. We have to want the ball more. Sometimes it's just about who wants the ball more. And I thought we did a good job of rebounding with all 5 players. And that was pretty big. And it's going to take a concentrated effort to do that again and again and again. So we'll see.
James, Kurt talked about the difference in Candace now from when he coached her, and he mentioned that she doesn't take plays off anymore. Is there something when you are an older athlete, whether it's Candace or Serena, knowing that this might be the last time, that makes you play in a different way, or makes you think about it or appreciate it a little more, and maybe do things differently than you might have done when you know you've got your whole career ahead of you?
I don't know. I didn't coach Candace back then, but what she's given us, she's been pretty consistent across the board. I think, I think she said it like you see the end. It's closer than the beginning was, and I just think we're in a situation where you see an opportunity to win. And so she wants to do everything in her power to get another championship. And so that's where I think you see, I wouldn't say desperation, but urgency. And so that urgency comes in the form of not taking plays off and being your best selves at all time, and paying attention to your body when on off days, and putting a lot into your game and into your craft. So I just think it's a little combination of all those things.
Speaking of urgency, it just felt like coming off of game one, you guys had an urgency and you were really dialed in. How did you feel about the approach and the way that you guys came out and really, attacked trying to win this game?
I thought the approach was good. I was pretty pleased with our first quarter, the way we came out. And I thought we didn't go through the lows that we went through in the first game with the 11-0 run or the 12-0 run. They had a little run there, but I thought we were focused and really we had our mind like made up that when it came down to taking care of the ball, when it came down to rebounding, we was going to do the best we can to do those things. Fourth quarter, we kind of let our foot off the pedal a little bit, and so not all the way happy about that, but that's a good team over there on the other side, so they're going to do whatever they can to make us uncomfortable, just like we're going to do whatever we can to make them uncomfortable. But all in all, I'm pleased with the game, and I'm just happy that we were able to show up and get a win.
Hey, Coach, can you speak to the level of activity on both ends of the floor that Emma Meeseman showed, from hedging and getting deflections to exploiting the short roll out of the 2-on scenarios on offense?
I mean, the fact that we're such a horrible defensive team, and she was able to show up and do those things. I thought it's not like she's gotten deflections all year, and the fact that she was able to do it tonight, I thought it was really special. And hopefully we can just build on that. I mean, we try our best, man. I just don't understand, but yeah. I mean, she did the best she can. I mean, but she's been getting deflections all year and doing those things. So, but she's not a great defender, but we'll deal.
And then, to counter the pressure that they were bringing to you guys offensively, you guys finally resurfaced that blend of player and ball movement. Can you just kind of give us a insight to how you felt you guys performed on that end of the floor as well?
I thought we did well. I thought we did really well. I thought the ball moved. I thought our cuts were more crisp. We saw video and we saw what places that we could attack them on the floor, and I thought we did a good job of executing those things. And it's just getting back to ourselves. That's what we've done all year. And I guess the way they played us the first game, we weren't really ready for it. And this game we were. And so we'll see where that leads us. But I don't think when we're moving the ball like that, and when we're moving with a purpose, not to just be moving, we're a special team. And so we're going to continue to try to move with a purpose and continue to go to those spots where they're not. We know they're a physical team, so but they can't be everywhere. So we'll find spots on the floor, and we'll break down this film and see how we can improve from this game. Yeah, I mean, this is playoffs. I love the fact that you get to adjust and kind of play with those things. And our team, they're a pretty high IQ team, and so they like those things too. Yeah.
Final question. We'll go to Mike Hughes from ASAP. Mike, please unmute.
Hey, Coach. I remember last year during the championship post-game press conference, Candace kind of attributed a lot of her success and a lot of things that fuel her to remembering and envisioning every single, post-game bucket that sent her teams home and every single shot that went over her head. And last game, she stayed on the court afterwards. She stayed on the court and she kind of just watched the Connecticut Sun celebrate. So I was wondering if you could kind of just speak on what it's like to be able to not only coach her, but to coach an entire team that's willing to buy into that and really just stand up and fight back the next game.
We've been pretty good all year. I think We only lost like 2 in a row in the 35th game of the season. That was the first time we lost 2 in a row. And so we've always had a fight back mentality, I think. And it starts with our leadership with Candace and Sloot and Kai and Allie, and the fact that they're very into detail oriented stuff. And they're very into being on the same page and the connectivity that it takes to actually build championship culture. They're all bought into that. And so to actually have them and actually have a player like Candace is special for me. And, you know, it's fun because you get to win and people actually think you're a good coach. So it's cool, you know, but yeah, I just take it as it is and just accept it. I know if I was coaching my sister and my cousin and all that, wouldn't be no extensions. So I'm glad with the players that we have.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All
We'll have
right.
Candace Parker and Emma Mieseman up next.
And I have only one per round. I can only do so much, James.
Good question. Do you mind pulling your mask down and then pulling it back up, please?
Hey, Emma, this team the starting five averages 11 and a half years of experience in the league. So just a ton of veteran experience. How are you guys influenced by that veteran experience in these moments where your back's against the wall?
It's not just in a game, it's after the game, before the game, during the game, during timeouts, and in practices. We just, like you said, they have so much experience, and all in different teams or overseas, and all that together, we try to make it one chemistry. And it's sometimes really amazing to see they're really smart. And I'm just learning, talking as well. But I think this is one of our strengths.
You talk about before the game, after the game. Is there anything specific that those three veteran leaders of Sloot, Allie, and Candace said over this week that really stands out to you? Said or did?
It's been all season long. It's just adapting stuff. I think this week was mainly about staying together and being really aggressive and pay attention to the details, because we have to do that in playoffs.
Go Maggie and then Stephen in the back.
Hi, Emma. You were really basically doing the dirty work in the paint tonight. So I'm just kind of wondering, do you like playing that kind of thing where you're because you and Jonquel were really going at each other in the paint, and it was fun to watch, but I don't know if it was fun to do.
Depends on how many bruises I have tomorrow. It's part of basketball. Connecticut is a pretty physical team, so we're up for it. If we don't do it, that's when we lose a game. So it's not that it's by surprise. We know what we have to do, and being physical is part of it.
Stephen?
Hey, Emma. So you set a tone early today with your activity at the level of the screen and just, getting deflections and kind of hedging out and just getting in the way. Was that a point of emphasis individually for you to kind of just get things going and kind of, resemble Sky basketball more defensively today?
It's part of a game plan, probably. We know that we have to be more aggressive than last game because we were not aggressive enough. We've been talking about, creating our own reality and making others live it, and being aggressive in defense, and let them take a step back. That's part of it.
And then, so it seemed like coming out of the hedging and the trapping that they were giving you guys offensively, you were typically the player that was flashing to be the release valve to connect to next parts of the offense. Just how does it feel when you're that specific player and then kind of trying to read the defense when, to find the advantages on the second side and things like that?
That's what I like about basketball. It's a game that you actually can read. So to be able to do that here with players that are all connected to each other, it's pretty fun, because maybe your pass is not going to be an assist, but that it's going to lead to the next assist. And when we do that, play that kind of beautiful basketball, it makes it so easy to play these games. So every time I think we've been growing doing that, and I know that there's more to come.
Second row on the left.
I'm Jack Money, CBS Sports. Another great game from Candace tonight. Just how impressed have you been watching her the last two games?
Can you say again?
Another great game from Candace tonight. Just how impressed have you been with her the last two games?
Not more than last game, because she's had so many different great games, and even if she's having less stats, she's still doing so many great things on the court, being a great leader. So I don't think there's enough words. I think that's your job to find them. But to just describe what she's been doing on the court. She's everywhere, in defense, offense. Off court, she's been very vocal. And I think I'm happy to play with her in these series, because going against her is not fun, I think.
Julia?
Hey, Emma. Obviously, the Sun are a really dominant team normally on the offensive boards, but you guys were able to hold them to only 6, I believe, second chance points today. What do you think was working in terms of being able to keep them off of those offensive boards today?
We were really prepared for it. It's being physical. You know that you just throw your body in there, and then we know that other people can come in and take the board. But we know if you take that point away from the Sun, it's a big part of their game. I think the league in offensive rebounds. So I think having them only have 7 offensive rebounds, that's a pretty good job.
And then they were able to really shut Sloot down in the first game, but she was back to being able to facilitate and assist the offense just as her normal form today. What is the difference, do you notice, between her having an off game and then when she's back on today? Just how different is the offense when she's at the top of her game?
That's what you said. Like, it facilitates the game for us. You know, I think today she had like a couple of great passes that nobody saw coming. Again, and you know, I even think on an off day she's still doing her job. You know, maybe she like having the pre-assist is big too, and reading and like leading the team or like telling the teammates what to do. I think that's what she did last game too. But having her back today, like in the assisting and scoring and everything, it's what she does. You know, I love it. I've been playing with her for 4 years, maybe. I love her.
We'll go Josh and then Alexa.
Hey, Emma, you all have been so good following a loss this season. What do you attribute to that?
I try to be more aggressive. I always try to do my job in defense because it's being physical. In offense, I made a point of looking to the basket more. I mean, I can't always decide if they go in or not, but I can't let it, you know, impact my game after if I miss in the beginning. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do today.
Do you think the team as a whole, though, has a different mindset after they lose a game, kind of the back against the wall?
Because, yeah, last game, our defense was okay, I think. It's just us missing shots and not playing together. And we know we can make shots. I know Ali made shots today, and I think we missed a lot of open threes, even though we got them. I think it was one of the games that we got the most open threes, like completely open. We just weren't able to put them in. So it's all just about, you know, having trust in ourselves, like sticking together and like talking to each other, like, you know, just take it. And yeah, now they went in.
Alexa?
Hi, Emma. How important has it been? There's been a lot of discussion, I guess, among the coaches about imposing your will in terms of which style of play. Was it going to be messy like the way Connecticut wants to play, or pretty and free-flowing like you all like to play? How important was that going into this game of trying to impose your will from the get-go and come out with such a strong first quarter, the way you want to play?
Very. It's one of our keys, like to start games, to play the whole 40 minutes like that. It makes it easier for us, especially in defense. Like if you're very aggressive, it tends to like get us going better in offense as well. You know, it gets us in the flow and like keeps the momentum up. And it gives us good energy. You know, when you try to get like 3 stops in a row and then you score off of it, that's a great feeling.
Any more questions for Emma? Last 2, 1 question each. We'll go Gavin, and then we'll go back row.
Emma, James practically said you guys were definitely going to make more shots today before the game. I wonder how he talks to you guys about such things. You know, he seems to never lack for confidence in his team.
Same way that he does to you, I think. He's very confident in us, and he makes a point of it, like to pass it on to us. Like he would say it multiple times, and sometimes you're like, oh, maybe too much confidence, but he tends to be right. So don't tell him, but it's true.
Last question.
Hey, Emma, after game 1, only 2 starters had at least 3 assists. That was you and Candace at 5 and 7. But today, at least 4 starters finished with at least 3. What clicked for you guys to get back to your game, and backdoor cutting was been successful all season?
It helps that we made more shots. So we know that we have great passers. And I think today everybody was moving, and we kept moving the ball. And at some point, like somebody was wide open. So it's just a point of making the easy shots and layups. Exactly.
All right, thank you, Emma. We'll have Candace up next. Welcome.
Thanks, Emma.
Bye.
Emma talked about the veterans on this team, specifically you, Allie, and Courtney, and the way you guys lead, not only in the game, but before the game, after the game, and all year. So how much weight do you guys feel in these moments, and how does that influence your performance in a game like this?
It's fun to be able to even be in this position. I think you lead all throughout the year to get here, but I think, there's moments. Allie and I were talking about it today, just in terms of it took her 8 years to get to the finals. It took me 9 years to get to the finals. Like, you have an opportunity. This team has an opportunity, so we can't not seize the opportunity. If we're not going to do it, let's not do it because they're just way better than us, And so let's go out and just play basketball. And I think that's the way that we lead, is that we just have to have the right mindset coming in, and we have to be the ones that set the tone.
So on the same night that you were having an incredible game, Serena Williams was also winning.
I was keeping up at halftime. I came in and saw she won the first set. I was hyped.
We were too on press row. What does that say about women over a certain age and what you can still continue to do at this very high level?
I think it's women over a certain age, but I also think it was super special to see her daughter there. For me personally, just to her daughter has no clue who Serena Williams is. That's mom. And it was just amazing. That's what I go crazy over, is it's just the superpower of being a mom and being able to be on that stage to balance the emotions that she's had to balance this last week. She went from beads to diamonds. I thought that was a nice touch for her. But listen, I'm a Serena Williams fan. And so to watch her dominate and, play in this fashion to beat the number 2 player in the world, yeah, it's crazy.
To follow up on that, and then if I can ask another question, but does that inspire you? I mean, and do you look at some similarities of your age, the success? You were both the
Serena's older than me, okay?
Yes, but you were both the oldest women on court,
first and foremost.
right?
For sure. I think it just talks about the mentality that you have in the game, the mental strength. I know you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but we can better our tricks a little bit, and I think the game slows down, and I think Serena, her serve, you don't have to be mobile to serve like she, you're not returning her serve. So I think it's just working on the things that you're really good at and, playing more of that mental game, and you're watching her, on the court. I didn't get to see the whole game. I'm going to go back and probably watch the whole match, but it's impressive to see what she's been able to do at this age.
And just the commentary around your game is that this is, some of the best you've ever played. Do you feel that way? What do you credit that to? And just what goes on behind the scenes to get you at this level that maybe it didn't in prior years, younger years?
I don't think so. I think, younger CP in the playoffs was more dominant, but I think just mentally understanding moments and things that I didn't understand, when I was fighting to get to the finals or fighting to win in the playoffs. So, I credit, my teammates and us being able to play as a unit. I think we feed off of each other, and, we step up in different opportunities. And so we got to continue to do that.
Stephen and then Nancy in the front.
Hey, Candace. Hey, so I was talking to Emma before you came in about how you guys had more flow in the half-court offense, and it seemed like you were way more composed, playing out of the trapping, and hedging scenarios and ball screens and things like that. Would you attribute the flow to specifically that, or would you say it was the defense and the deflections that you got, or would you attribute it to both?
I think it's a combination of both, but I think it's our mindset. I've always talked about how it's it is that mindset to be able to come in and do the things that aren't fun. Cutting is not fun. Being in help side and rotation, flying around is not fun, but it gets the job done. And we have to do that consistently. And when we do that consistently, we've had good results. And so I think it's the mindset of coming down and, setting a good screen, coming down and rolling hard, giving an outlet to your teammates. So when we do those things on the offensive end, then good things happen.
And then can you speak to the tone that Emma set for you guys today? Because she's able to replicate a lot of the things that you get a lot of notoriety for, as far as like hedging with activity, making +1 passes and things like that.
Emma, when James first talked about Emma joining our team, I was so excited. One, we didn't have to play against her. She's one of those players that I didn't want to play against. She's a nightmare just because, she's great in the post, can hit the mid-range, can hit the three, is a great passer, IQ-wise, and then defensively, like, she's smart. So to see her activity and to see her bounce back, I think that's the biggest thing, challenging everybody and looking at everybody and how focused we were coming into today's game, and especially her. And so when Emma says she's going to do something, she does it. And I was just proud of her today. And, we need that even more so on the road.
Candace, another question about you and Serena. When you get to this stage in your career where you know that you're closer to the end than you were at the beginning, is it urgency that you feel at this stage, like when you are this close, or is it more of like it slows down because you know what you have to do and you're savoring the moment, or is it a combination?
I think it's a combination, but at this point, anytime you're in a position to, I would hope anytime you're in a position to go, to play in a playoff scenario, you would have urgency and competitiveness. And I just know this time of year is like my favorite, it's like, it's so much fun. I remember being in college and coach getting mad at me in the regular season because I was just like, I can't wait to get to the to the NCAA tournament. And the same thing with the WNBA playoffs. It's so fun. Like, there's only 4 teams playing. Like, everybody has to watch us. And so it's just out there just competing and playing and having fun. And I think there is a urgency, but I'm not thinking about that. I think we're just trying to win, the game for this team and, even out the series. This was a big one for us.
Candace, late in the second quarter, you had you threw a bounce pass through traffic to Courtney with your left hand. Just how does it feel to throw like a perfect pass like that?
I love our team and their willingness to cut and to move, and so I think we have good IQ, high IQ players, and sometimes I get in trouble for squeezing the ball in there. I get turnovers, but it feels great, especially when you see the ball go in. And I really honestly, this is serious, like I would rather throw a dime pass than get a bucket anytime. Like, I think it's just so fun, like the energy with the ball and the movement and the connection between two people. We pride ourselves on, our assists. And so it's always fun for me to throw those passes.
Hey, Candace, a big difference in this team from last year's team has just been your guys' ability to avoid back-to-back losses. Obviously, last year was a bit more streaky than that. So, when you look at this team and the way that you guys are approaching the game after a loss versus maybe last year, what do you think is that difference, and just what are you noticing about that mentality?
I want our mentality to be better after a win. I think that's where I'm challenging our team. I know what we face when our back's against the wall, and I'm proud of us. And I think we grinded last season and we showed what we were made of. But like, when we make things easier for ourselves, like, let's not let the pedal, let's not take our foot off the pedal. And so I think after a win is when we need to be even more focused and come ready to play and come focused and come with the right mentality. I don't think we had the right mentality in game 1. I think we relaxed and shoot around and, film, and that whole day I didn't think we had the right mentality, and it showed. And so I think just in terms of our mentality going into game 3, what team's going to show up? So I think that's the biggest thing. I don't question us, when our back's against the wall. There's no other team I would rather be with. But when we win, I think that's the biggest thing.
Then looking at Courtney as a teammate, I know a lot of Sky players have talked about how they're seeing her just like flex a little bit more this year and just kind of dig into a little bit more of like showing that personality on the court that maybe you haven't seen before. What's your perspective on that? What's it been like to maybe see her kind of build off the confidence of last year where, she's gotten that title off her shoulders and now she can just really play free?
SLU is Chicago. This is her franchise. I came here to play with her. And to see her drive. I mean, she's the first at practice. She's getting treatment. She's lifting. She's activating. And so to see what she does off the court, you know, why not flex on the court? You do all this activation. And we always talk about we wake up, activate, take a nap, activate. So why not show that on the court? And, you know, it's been fun to see her personality and her ability to lead and her competitiveness. I mean, Sloot is one of the most competitive people I've ever been around. And so I love when she flexes, even though her muscles aren't as big as mine.
Hi, Candace. James has talked a lot this postseason about the team's defense needing to be really strong and aggressive. And I was just wondering if you look at what you feel like you've been doing so effectively this series, what is that? And then also if you could just speak to your approach defensively as a whole this season, what's really worked for you?
You know, Connecticut is a physical team, so we have to bring it, you know, defensively. We have to throw different looks at them. So I think it's, you know, it's definitely us coming ready to play. I think it's us knowing their tendencies and trying to make them, you know, obviously they're still going to make shots even though we make them do something else, but it's making those shots hard. And I think also it's finishing the play with a rebound. And today we did that. We were able to do that, and we have to continue to do that because they're a great team. And so limiting them to one shot is going to be really important. And then it impacts our offense. We're able to get out in transition and run and, you know, push the ball.
Hey, Candace. Jonquel Joseph and Tisha Hydeman were the only two Sun players in double digits after boasting 4 in game 1. And DeWanna Bonner went over 6, only scoring 2 points that came from the free throw line. Can you speak to the emphasis that went into nice defensive efforts?
I think, you know, we have our schemes, we have our tendencies. DP is a great player. It's really just about making things as tough as we can for her. A big emphasis is on not fouling, so I'm disappointed that we sent them to the line 16 times. So we got to clean that up. But, I mean, they're great players. Jonquel, same. You know, Alyssa, same, down the line. So it's really just trying to make things as difficult as possible, forcing them to shoot contested shots and then blocking out.
Last two, Carly and then Shannon.
Right here, Candace. Just kind of a follow-up on Julia's question. You know, looking at last year's postseason, it was game 1 where you guys would kind of throw the first punch, and then this year it's kind of more game 2. What would you say, can you pinpoint a difference that you see from last year to this year when it comes to a playoff approach from game 1 into game 2, or have you just not really figured that out?
Please let me know. You know, I don't like when we turn it on and turn it off, you know, even throughout games with runs, with quarters, you know, in the playoffs, you don't have time to relax. And so I think that's what we've hopefully learned. And now it's, you know, it's a best of 3 series. That's what it is. So we got to treat next game like game 1.
Last question, Shannon.
Oh, just real quick first, is just when you were checking Serena's match, was that like, did you sneak a look on your phone? Is there a TV in the locker
on the way back
room?
from halftime, no phones on the bench. On the way back from halftime, the TV was on and I was able to check it out and
Going
see that
into
she
the
won the
locker
first
room.
set. Yep.
Okay. And then just, sorry, another age question, but, you know, a lot of players would be winding down. You certainly don't look like you're winding down. Just how much does that inform the way you're playing now, inform your decision about how long you'll play? Or do you look at people like Serena or Sue Bird and think it's good to go out on top?
I'm big on, I want to play with my kids. I want to be able to walk to play with my kids. I want to be able to beat my daughter and my son, like, to the point of just like, I want to be able to destroy them when I'm done playing. So I have to be able to walk to do that. So I think my body is going to be the ultimate deciding factor. And like I said, I think, you know, it's not fun when you are not what you could, you know, what you are used to being. And so I think it's, you know, you want to go out before that. So I think, yeah, we're just focused today on this series. I'm not focused on what the future is. You know, I think my body will tell me that.
All right, thank you, Candace.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.